Oh, that was, that was a lot of noise.
I feel like I got caught. I'm like,
that was just one paper shuffling? You just touched a paper. All right. No worries. All right. Did I just get real blurry? Do I look blurry over there?
Yeah, all of a sudden you got
blur. No, unblur. It's not happening.
Not yet.
Okay,
it'll blip.
I have to like move around or something. Okay, anyways, Salima, everyone. Sorry I'm blurry. I don't know what's going on over here. I am Abbey Quinn. This is Niki Tenn, and we are here. We are your fabulous co-hosts, each other, our co-hosts, I guess, whatever's going on, for our wonderful live stream that you are definitely here for. And that is called Astrology, Myth, Magic, Mysteries, and more. We talk about all kinds of stuff. Our special guest today actually has the flu, so which is going to be us. So sorry for the false advertisement. It is a short notice thing. We do apologize. Nikki is making me insane. What do I do? Hold on. Okay.
I know, it's kind of making me crazy too.
Settings, video. That's a video issue. Yes. There's no camera. Okay, hold on. I can do this. I can figure this out. On Zoom, if I just undo it and then redo it. Here, let me unplug it right from the USB. See if that helps.
Oh my God, yeah. You like got out of the camera and then it just went clear.
Oh, like when I went away?
Yeah,
oh, it's better. It's better now.
Well, I think it's better now.
Oh, if I move at all, it gets fuzzy. Okay, weird. Anyways, we have a great show for you guys today. Hi, Roxanne. Hi, everybody who's just joining us. Yes, where were we? Today is March 5th, 2025, I believe. I'm told, Nikki tells me that the moon is somewhere near the Pleiades. So we're definitely going to talk about that. As a matter of fact, I think we're going to jump into the sky here right away. We'll just kind of get that going. If you're all right with that, Nikki, and then we'll kind of wander from there.
Yeah, everybody knows who we are. They know we do astrology.
Yeah.
They know we do stuff.
Oh, I got to pull up the actual thing. Hold on. That helps.
Yeah, okay, so I wasn't down to pay for Stellarium, okay? All the extra features.
Like on the phone? Because
mobile. They make you pay for it to like use it.
Yeah.
And I thought I already did. So I was like, why isn't this working? Why isn't this working right? And okay, so I upgraded.
Is it good? I don't have the paid version.
Well, I use my phone and I use like my iPad a lot. So I want to be able to pull it up and I want to be able to play with it. I have like a bunch of different ones, but I do prefer, as time has gone on, Stellarium. It does have a learning curve to it.
A little bit, yeah.
But it's not that bad. No, it's not.
No, once you figure it out, it's pretty straightforward.
So she was passing the Pleiades this morning. That's what I was looking at.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The Pleiades, dude. I was like, wait, there's so many stories about the Pleiades. It starts like
many.
The Greek version is they were the daughters of Atlas, and they were getting chased by some horny dude. I guess it's always some
Greek. Yeah, in Greece, that seems to be the theme.
But my favorite story came from your class. It was one of them where the ancients thought they were like 7 wizards or something like along those lines. I think I read in Bernadette Brady's book, Two Fixed Stars, that one of the like pre-Vedic stories where it was 7 mothers who would judge men and then sometimes cut them with like moon-shaped razors if they were bad. I was like, ooh, I can get down with That sounds pretty cool. Like, when did we get rid of that story? That story. I wish it would have stuck.
Oh, what am I doing? I'm changing these ones. Where's the Greek one? There's the Egyptian one. One of them anyways. Come on, you. Sorry, I'm not yelling at you, Nikki.
No.
Talking to the program is just a little slow.
Ooh, this is cute. I like this art.
This is the Dendera zodiac.
Have like a puppy face.
The what?
The bull kind of has a puppy face, or doesn't it look like a?
It kind of looks like my cat Cosmos.
Yeah.
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 Interesting. Very, very similar to the Babylonian zodiac. Very, very similar. Likely.
Okay. Which one is this one? The Greek? Egyptian? Oh, Egyptian.
Yeah.
I see the hats. Yeah.
The Egyptians had the deacon system. So that's 10 days. It's basically 36 weeks, like stellar weeks of 10 days each. So they didn't really have, like, over time, they became associated with constellations, but it was much later. So there's a lot of overlap between the Dendera versions and the actual Babylonian versions. Yes, hold on, let me see. So the Pleiades in particular are one of, if not, I think it's the oldest recognizable constellation on Earth. And this goes between all over the world. Any culture you name, they have a story about the Pleiades from folklore and mythology. Let's see, which one do we want to settle on here? Let's grab the Mula pen while we talk about this. So they're fascinating. They usually have some sort of connection to, like, if you look at the overlying themes, we have connections to dragons or some sort of serpent. There's usually magic involved. There's also something terrible seems to happen. Okay, there's usually some sort of tragic event, not always. I'm, generalizing what are probably thousands of different stories. And if you guys know in the comments, if you are watching Mermaids Wear Hats, Roxanne Speaks English with Lorna, if you guys know of any Pleiades stories from folklore, pop them in there. But one of them is, I believe, no, I'm going to butcher it. I'm not going to remember. I actually go through, I have a giant list of all these different mythologies and stuff.
Oh yeah, it's hard to remember,
related to
like
because there's so many
melt together. Yeah,
yes,
there is.
Yes.
I tried to read a few of them last night, and I'm like, oh, I ended up falling asleep.
So yeah, because there's just for real so many. But in Mesopotamia, these were the 7 Sabiti, or Sabitu in Akkadian. And they were sort of like, we would call them similar to demons, but they're not demons in the Christian sense. Okay. They're like, they're just these sort of powerful spirits, but they're the weapons of the god of war, death, and pestilence, Nergal, who is in Mars. And in the Babylonian Amina lore, they actually say that the Pleiades, the Sabiti, the 7, are Mars. So this type of conjunction right here, we would consider this a a moon-Mars conjunction, because in Babylon, this is Mars. But what happened was, the Babylonian version of Mars, his name was Era. And he was kind of just chilling, having a good time. He liked the good things in life, the pleasures of the world and whatnot. And the Sabiti, his weapons, they come to him and they tell him, what are you doing? Like, why are we not totally massacring people right now? Doesn't it feel good to go into battle and, slay all of your enemies? The black-haired people have become contemptuous. We needed to go and, smack them around a little bit.
Stop.
Really, seriously. I mean, that's not like a perfect translation.
Well, yeah, but it's
but literally that's what's going on. They tell him, they're like, why do you want to stay in town and eat bread like an old man or a lisping child? Like, you need to go to what did they call it, the festival for young men, or the field of battle was the festival for young men, basically war. And in this process, Mars is like, yeah, that's actually a great idea. It does feel good to murder and, just go on a war rampage here. So he does. And this demonstrates one of the things about Mars that you don't hear too much about, at least in the classical or modern systems, that Mars is very mutable. He's very easy to manipulate into kind of doing whatever he wants. Okay. He is slightly egotistical, if not an egomaniac. Okay. And he wants attention. He wants love. He wants power. He wants it all. He wants all the good pleasures of the world and whatnot. So they knew how to push his buttons and got him to basically go to war and murder some people. So the other thing we see in the Epic of Gilgamesh, hold on, I'm trying to multitask and talk at the same time. Where are we on modern? In the Epic of Gilgamesh, Utu, or Shamash, the sun god, gives the 7 Sabiti to, where are we at here? Right there. He gives them to Gilgamesh to guide his way through the mountains on his journey to basically find immortality and whatnot. And this is a reference to the Pleiades being used in navigation since time immemorial. Okay, since people were traveling, they used these stars for navigation. But in the descriptions, both in the Era epic and in the Epic of Gilgamesh, the way they describe the Pleiades is terrifying. I could probably pull out some quotes here, but I'm just going to paraphrase because I'm having trouble multitasking. But basically, one has the face of a lion, one's breath is venom. They have claws like eagles' talons. And if you read the descriptions, they don't sound like weapons. They're not describing Thor's hammer or something. They're describing what really sound like the remnants of an asteroid or a comet making impact with the Earth. Now, what's interesting, and so when the weapons hit the Earth, they talk about them. All of the fields and rivers burst into flames and fire. All of the mountains are laid waste. There's earthquakes. There's it's just the entire like the whole world is brought to its knees, and there's this global cataclysm. And what's interesting is that in the Era epic, there are direct references to Jupiter leaving its orbit or its station and Mars basically taking over. And they describe this in quite a lot of detail. It's not 100% clear which planet's going where, but the Mesopotamians, in their record, it was very clear that something in the sky happened a long, long time ago. And this issue with the Pleiades, this was like a remnant of that. And they very specifically say when Jupiter left its orbit, he caused the deluge. He caused the stars to tremble in the sky and other things to fall from the sky. And he caused the seas to rise and the rains to pour and all this other stuff. And he literally caused the deluge. This is probably not a coincidence. Now, I'm not saying for sure. I wasn't there, you guys. I can't verify personally if that's what happened. But they're not the only culture to record some sort of massive celestial phenomenon associated with the deluge that followed. So in my assessment, it seems like the Pleiades were probably rising on the eastern sky during, we're going to put it, so let's go back. Hold on, let's see if I can do this. Let's go back 11,500-ish BC. Hold on one second. Okay, and then let's go to springtime skies. Yes, right around the equinox. Let's do that. And let's pull out, you see here, where are we? Oh, I'm on the moon now. Hold on, let's see if I can. We don't need to be on the moon. Where do we want to be? Let's go to, we'll go back to Giza. That's close enough. Whoops, that's not how you spell it. And let's pull up the, why do I see nothing? I see nothing now. Oh, okay, because it's definitely dark because I'm on the moon. The picture I picked was the moon. Okay, landscape. Let's just go back to some sort of desert or something. Mars, no. Where are these all I have? I thought I had more than these. This is weird. Ocean. Yeah, we'll pick the ocean. Fine, whatever. All right. So here we are on the ocean. Not sure why I can't see it yet. Okay, so it's 11,500 BC, you guys. Let's pick the, I got to grab these markings too. Let's grab these. Yes. Good. All right. And as we can see here, 18, sun is coming up. Good. Yes, yes, yes. All right, but we're going to go back down, roundabout at the equinox. Let's get rid of this. Okay, so as you can see here on the horizon, what am I looking at? This isn't right. It's the wrong side of the sky. Okay.
It was really pretty though.
Yes, 11,000 years ago, rising at the time of the vernal equinox, 100% not 0 degrees of Aries, okay? If this is accurate, and truth be told, Stellarium, I have the most up-to-date plugins to make sure that we account for shifts in the zodiac. But once you get back to like 12,000, 20,000 years BC, the ecliptic gets a little wonky. I'm just being honest, okay? But either way, according to this calculation, right on the eastern horizon, Sagittarius was rising at the time of the vernal equinox. This is right around the end of the last ice age, okay? So what would have happened would have been right over here. Where's Taurus? Where are you at, buddy? Taurus.
Oh, he's
yes.
right there. Oh, I see him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he's over here. Let me go back to Pleiades. No. So every twice a year, we have something called the Taurid meteor shower. And let's see, can I bring it up? Is it going to show me? I don't think I have it set up on here to have all my asteroids and whatnot. We probably do. Let's see if I can pull it up. Hold on. Months. Is it going to show up for me? What is that? Okay, so here in the summertime, but like now it's in the spring and fall, but back then it would have been right around the summertime. This the northern Taurids, this is a meteor shower that comes out of Taurus, which is why it's called the Taurid meteor shower. And it is essentially the remnants of some sort of giant comet that has been, or planetary body or something that has been smashed up. And every year, twice a year, the Earth passes through this, the tail of this comet, essentially. And this means that scary fireballs crashing to the sky or from the sky and causing global cataclysms are far more likely when they're coming from Taurus. Now, what time of year this would have been for them, like I said, this is going to go back. So let me see. Oh, I'll go back. Taurid. Where did you go? All right, do my math for me. What's 6 minus 7 is 1, right?
Yeah. Stop.
Yep, that's where I'm at right now. So right around, that's going to be like, well, technically they're wintertime skies, but
yeah.
We do have, so in especially Mesopotamia, the spring equinox was really important for them. That was when they basically measured their, like the beginning of the new year and stuff. And that we see that in cultures around the world. It's not obviously uniform, but a lot of them do have it. But when we go back to like 5000 BCE, right when the Sumerians were, their culture was really kicking off. Let me go back to March. So as you can see, March 21st, okay, vernal point-ish. Which constellation is, well, that's over on the western side. Okay, so we're still off by, what am I trying to say? 6 months, yes. But essentially, these are the constellations that are the strongest. So they're going to like measure these. They're going to mark these while these celestial impacts are occurring. This is going to be something that's very significant to them. And it's not strange that all over the world, we have almost this exact figure. So the Hall of Bulls in Lascaux is almost identical, not necessarily to this particular image, but it literally has the haunch of the bull and some like little fuzzy bristles on its back up on the shoulder. And then the 7 Sabiti right up in the sky. It also has the sun right over here entering the horns of the bull. I wish I could, let's see if I can, it's not going to be the exact year, so it's going to be hard to like find the exact image, but where's my son at? Son, where are you? There you are, buddy.
You know, I've always found Taurus to be a very like sensual sign, very much like deep into your own senses, like smell, taste, all of that stuff. And when you learn a lot more about the stars and how they're all put together, and you see how like you just kind of get confused a little bit. You get that pop culture, you know, education, and then you get in there and you dig into what the ancients were seeing and talking about, and you know that, you know, the regular, you know, astrology, mainstream astrology is like, oh, Taurus is such a, you know, calm sign, you know, such a steadfast, you know,
well, that comes
patient sign.
That comes directly from the Greek element modality system, and also the fixed association that they give Taurus. But that was a fabrication. It had nothing to do with the actual original meanings. This was so, I'm sure you guys have seen like Brahma bulls and wild oxen. Some of these animals are like 7 feet at the shoulder, minimum. They are massive. And this Taurus was a wild bull. It specifically states he's a wild bull. And there's many references made to the wild bull, the bull of heaven throughout mythology. A lot of times they'll compare one of the other gods to this god because he is so brilliant and divine and full of fertile energy and, just power and strength. He was this savage creature. I mean, beautiful. And, they respected him, but he was not, this was not decadence and practicality, like all those.
And patience and
no. I mean, it's got it in there, sure.
It's in there, yeah, but I mean,
but that certainly wasn't the dominant feature.
Not at all.
Okay, where were we at? What's today?
Today is the 5th. Or is it the 6th by you?
Oh, it's still the 5th. Soon it will be. Yes. Yeah, so what do you get with the moon Pleiades conjunction?
So it's not like it's this rare thing, this rare conjunction at all.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess you could probably find yourself a little bit more emotionally motivated to, dig deep and figure your shit out. I mean, it's kind of like if you look at the mythologies and all of that stuff, I mean, they don't really make, like the Greek mythology doesn't really make sense. I mean, everything is so rapey. It's like
so much
like taking from you. And I like the ancient stories where they're like, hey, these are tools for you to use to, go after the things that you want. And why wouldn't you want this? Why wouldn't you want that? So I think it's definitely, more or less kicking off some creative, thinking, creative emotions, kind of just firing you up a little bit. Oh, what do you think?
Yeah,
I mean, it's every month. So, I mean, it's not like we're going to war,
No, right. Some of the other conjunctions with the Pleiades, like Venus, not so great, but again,
that I totally agree with.
Yeah. Same Mars in there, it's also not great. I think it just depends on the planet. I like Mars in the Pleiades, but I really like the creative side of Taurus. So if you guys don't know, I'm putting this course together, the chakras and astrology course. We're finishing, hopefully, the last class Saturday, so that'll be fun. But one of the things that I'm doing is I'm making sure that I'm, going into more detail. We kind of gloss over this aspect in the ancient astrology course that we did. So I just went into a little bit more detail, make sure it's, you're getting something new if you do take the chakra and astrology class. But anyways, one of the things about Taurus in particular, when we're comparing it to what is in the classical system associated with the earth element, this was the celestial bull. It was not a terrestrial animal. Sure, actual cows and bulls are terrestrial animals, but not this one. And this one was very, very significant. This was actually the beginning. The oldest astrological records we have cite the Pleiades as the first constellation in the zodiac, followed by Taurus, and Aries was at the very end. And this is, again, because of the precession of the equinoxes. But many cultures around the world list, if they have, star groups or anything that they list the Pleiades as the beginning. But that's, again, going back to the celestial bull. He was very much associated with, if we're going to have an element, like pick one of the classical elements, air would have been the most obvious because he's literally up in, the sky, in the air. But the next most obvious one is actually water. And in Mesopotamia, water was the fertile creative element. Anything water touched, it just life sprang forth from it. Sometimes, you know, bacterial life stuff you didn't necessarily want, but it was still there. And they recognized this. They have many references to thunder clouds and storms being called bull calves of the sun. There's references to the sun's rays as the horns of the bull and like the radiant divine bull. So there's all this solar energy wrapped up in here. And again, some of that too might have to do with the spring equinox at one point was rose, you know, during when Taurus was rising on the vernal point. But again, this is this over here, the Aldebaran, and what is now, we see these two horns of the bull. We don't know if these were originally the horns of the bull. This could have been the back end of the bull. We don't know for sure. But they were all associated with rain and the storm god Adad, who could either hold back the rains or cause the floods. And again, this gave him the power of creation. Adad was also called the canal inspector of the cosmos. And they're talking about, again, canals, water. He's managing this water element. As the inspector, he's got a deeper intellectual energy. So when you take all of these things and you consider the original, you know, the Earth version, the Earth fixed Venus version, which is very decadent, kind of lazy, stubborn, really not fun. I remember one of the first things when I was first starting to work in astrology, I only had access to tropical astrology at the time. And in that system, my moon was in Taurus. And they're like, yeah, this means that you're lazy. You like to, you know, pleasurable things and, you know, just decadence and all. And I'm like, nothing makes sense. And nothing you just told me makes any sense.
Yeah.
I
know where your moon is. That doesn't really.
No, they're like, what is this?
Like at all, actually.
Yes, exactly. So, yeah, there were definitely red flags right out of the gate. But even so, the bull of heaven has nothing to do with that. This is all creativity and somebody who wants to learn. And there's also an element of service, and we can see that in the Epic of Gilgamesh. Some people think that this figure over here is Gilgamesh, technically be his companion Enkidu slaying the bull of heaven, which happens in the Epic of Gilgamesh. Either way, he is slain, but even in his death, his parts are butchered and he's fed to the orphans and widows and whatnot, and the people in need in the city. And there's an element of self-sacrifice, and all, because he's down here at the behest of the Supreme Father deity An, who Mermaids Wear Hats says my moon is in Taurus and tropical too. Yeah, does Mermaids Wear Hats? Does that sound like you, just lazy and decadent and don't want to do anything ever?
My Venus is in Taurus, and I really am kind of like I. But here's the thing: I'm not lazy. Okay, I will find ways to get things done in the most efficient way so that I can enjoy myself later. Let's put it that way.
So you're working smarter, not harder.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that goes against the Taurus associations too, because they're like, oh, they're really hard workers too, and you know they're just
I don't like it when they say that they're slow. Like, slow at what? Like, want to get shit done.
It's definitely off. It's definitely.
I do like the connection to beauty, though, to beauty and creation and all of that stuff. And that could just be my own placements in there. Like, I find when the moon goes through Taurus, it's a really good time to focus on yourself, your self-worth. I like to do like little spa things, you know, just take care of my body and take care of myself. And yeah, that's been working so far.
Yeah, handling your stuff is definitely in here for sure. It's definitely a taking care of business, but it's taking care of the stuff that you have to do. It is a little bit more internal. I think there's a lot more of that, like trying to figure stuff out and like refine this information, become wisdom. I do see a correlation to consumption, whether that's information consumption or technically eating things.
Yes.
Which you said you have. For sure.
Yeah. Oh my God. I know. Lately, that's my fantasy. I've just been fantasizing about food, good food. I was like, rub it all over me. I'm fucking loving it. Like, I can't get over it. And I think it's because I I just have so many restrictions and things going on.
Yeah, it sounds like you might be mineral deficient. Sounds like your body's needing some minerals, and it's.
I've been trying to find the right like vitamin, and everything I take like gives me big like cystic acne.
I wouldn't do vitamins if it was me.
No, I'm not.
I would just try to find foods that work with your body and just get the nutrients from there. But I know it's hard.
Hard in America.
It's like hard to figure out even what's going to work with your system.
Well, I think with Uranus moving through Taurus, we're already seeing a shakeup in how, you know, we deal with things like food and issues with food, if that's even connected. I mean, I'm sure it is.
I can see a food connection.
It's shaking it all up. Absolutely. And it's kind of nice that the truth about how we've been treated in our country when it comes to food and medicine and the constant full-on stream of poisons. It's just fucking ridiculous.
Yes,
and I'm glad we're
really
all talking about it. And it's to me, I think it's just so asinine that that we have to talk about it before we actually do something about it. Like, how about
I can't believe all the, like, I grew up mostly in the 90s and, you know, before we really had the internet and stuff. And I knew all this stuff was going on back then, and I was still like a teenager. I don't understand how it's taken all these other people so long to figure out that the food is poison. I remember when I was like in 7th grade, and my cousin was telling me that red dye 40 causes like hyperactivity. And I'm like, really? Like, so you can't eat M&Ms and stuff? They're like, yeah, if you give your kids this. That was forever ago. That's the mid-90s. How you guys still have not figured out that these things.
Oh my God, you had some knowledge dropped on you, man. I didn't know anything about that. Everybody around me smoked cigarettes. We were all smoking in restaurants. I was like 12 smoking, you know, drinking no water ever until I was like probably in my 20s, maybe my 30s. It was all like high C and
oh yeah, I grew up on Mountain Dew.
Soda. Yeah. All the kids I grew up with that were addicted to Mountain Dew.
Yeah,
I don't have teeth anymore because
that's how. Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah. Oh, it eats your teeth for sure. That's how I made it to high school, though. Mountain Dew.
Yeah, I know. That was how I knew that soda was poison, though, because I could not drink Mountain Dew. I would just vomit. It was just too sweet. Ugh, it's just fucking gross.
When I was 16, I told my family that I was seeing things, you know, like dead people and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so they put me on Prozac.
Oh, nice.
But I took the Prozac with Mountain Dew in the morning, and which is probably not the best decision, but it kicked it made me hate Mountain Dew because it tasted so disgusting. And so that's when I finally stopped. I didn't take the Prozac for very long. It turned me into a zombie, and I still saw the dead people. So it doesn't.
Yeah, I took it for fun because my friends, you know, were all on like Ritalin and all, like they were all getting fucking prescriptions, and so it turned into like, hey, let's have some fun with this. And I hated Prozac. I took it and I cried for a whole 24 hours. And I was like, why? This is horrible. Why would I ever want to ever take this regularly?
Did you know in the clinical trials, when they did the double-blind studies, they found that 80% of the people who took the placebo compared to compared to the actual Prozac, 80% of them, their depression went away, or like basically. So like, why do you still get to sell if clearly a placebo is going to cure depression or whatever you're dealing with? Why are you still allowed to sell it? Mermaids Wear Hats said I had a serious Fountain Dew addiction. Do you guys, that makes me wonder, Nikki, do you guys have Faygo over there?
Oh my God, yes. Yes. Oh my God. Yeah, we do. It's in my store.
We had to, most of the time Mountain Dew was too expensive for us, so we had to get Moon Mist, which is the Faygo version.
We were jolly good. There was a jolly good thing going on back in the 80s and 90s. So we were the jolly good family. My dad was weird about Faygo, so yeah.
He didn't like it? I thought it was a Michigan thing.
Yeah.
But you guys are close enough to Michigan, so just across the lake.
I'm like right on the edge. So yeah. Call a bubbler. Is it a bubbler? It's a bubbler. It's a water fountain. I never called it a water fountain. I always called it a bubbler.
Lorna says I'm assuming she's talking about you. She has the intellectual consumption too, consumes what she is interested in passionately. Nikki, I think you have more books than anyone I have ever met.
I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Sorry, I'm not sorry.
If you can just rattle off a couple of like books from the 1920s the other day, like, oh yeah, I just have those. They're just right over here. Like these old out of print books, you know, like I assume I can't even imagine what you actually have over there. There must be a full library.
I do have a library, but I get obsessed and I want to know everybody's opinion on everything. And I need to know.
That is the Taurus, I'm telling you.
It totally doesn't, it just doesn't track when everybody's saying something different. And that's, you know, as an astrologer, here I am, I'm confused, you know, because this author says this astrologer says this. I think it causes a lot of confusion, and I want to figure it out, because eventually it would be nice to teach other people what it all means and how it all applies to them, you know. So when I do my readings, I'm talking to, you know, my clients about what it is the moon does and how it affects you. I'm talking, you know, like these are internal processes, and so I'm teaching as I'm telling, you know, and speaking. So, you know, I want to make sure that I'm giving like the best information possible, you know, that they're getting exactly what's real and true. And that's hard in this day and age. The information is so fucked up. I mean, the internet is fucked up. It's just like a crazy place. Like sometimes you get some spot on stuff, and sometimes you get some wackadoodle blogs, and you're like, whoa, like what are these folks on? You know, like what did something damaging happen to this person, and they're projecting what they think into the meaning, you know.
So much is projected, so very much is projected.
It really is. And when you're in the psychic world and the psychic realms, and you do tarot, and you spend a lot of time in that you know, lifestyle, you see those patterns, and then you can just nail it when you see it in other areas of life. So projection is really, really big. So it's a big part of it. So you want, like, that's why I love your style, because you're like, this is what it means. This is how it applies to you. It isn't like, I don't know, made up.
Yeah, it can't be, because
got to track every single time.
Yeah, every time. And if it doesn't, I got to figure out what's wrong. And it's usually, again, I think some people, I don't want to say that. It depends on the, like, Vedic astrology is definitely guilty of being way too specific in their predictions. You're just not going to get accuracy every time if you really try to pin it down to, you know, your son is going to grow up to be a lawyer. Like, that's too specific. You know, like we have to, they're not meant to be that specific. There's only 7 visible planets. We're supposed to be able to get the information we need just out of those first and foremost. And you can't figure out all of life's intricacies just based on 7 factors and 12 placements, you know. So some of it is general by necessity, but there are things that should either be correct or not. Like, if you have Taurus, if Taurus has anything to do with being lazy, everybody with a strong Taurus placement has, you know, those lazy tendencies. I'm many things, but I'm sure my family wishes I had a lazy streak in there somewhere. I just don't have it in me. So, you know, like there's just things where no, like the stuff either makes sense to you or it doesn't. And if it doesn't, we need to find out why. Is it because we're describing it, we're trying to get too specific, or we don't understand what the planet actually does? Could go either way.
Yeah. Or what the constellation reflects, the energy it's reflecting. Yeah. And that's why, you know, with tropical astrology, not a lot of people can fully immerse themselves in it and say, this is it. This is totally me. And I totally agree with this. I meet so many people that are like, oh, I thought it was just me. I really didn't think it was like true. I just kind of thought it was like half true. And it's not until you pull it out of them and get them to talk about it, they're like, oh my God. Like I'll grab my customers at my store, you know, in my day job, I work at a dispensary. And if I have time, I'll, like, when we're talking about it, we usually always are talking about some crazy shit. they're shocked, they're shook. They're like, and it's not even talking about the sun. I'll talk about their Venus or their Mars, or even like where their Jupiter is, you know, like, hey, this is like the type of belief systems you have. This is like how you approach, you know, life a little bit. And they're just beyond shocked. Like, how did you know? This is spot on. Like, so there's a difference. There's a huge difference. And that's why we do what we do. And that's why I'm so anti-tropical, because I'm sorry, no, like you can talk about the planet aspects and how those work together. And yes, you can get a lot of good information out of it. But when you start throwing in the zodiac and you're a whole sign off, like, sorry.
It makes no sense.
It makes zero sense then. So right now, I think in tropical, they've got Mars in Cancer already going into Leo or some bullshit. I don't know. I don't keep track anymore.
It's so frustrating to go outside and actually see where the planets are, which I don't think they do. I don't know how you could go outside and have a connection with your eyes to the constellations and then come back and literally tell someone that their planet is somewhere that it is not at. I would be okay. So again, I'm having to put this course together, and I went back and I walked myself through the process of like my first couple of readings that I did using tropical astrology. It's almost 25. Is it 25 years ago? Yeah. I'm still embarrassed for 18-year-old Abby to give these readings and have these people look at me like I'm a moron. And at the same time, my teachers, my astrology teachers, because we all worked together basically, are telling me it's not, no. This is the right information. They're lying to you. These people, your clients, they just don't want to admit that they have these traits about them. Like, what?
Stop.
That is so disgusting.
See, I got into it really young, like really young. I was super into all of the mystical, all of the magic, all of the psychic stuff. And I was floating around from group to group, partying. I mean, I was just, you would have thought I was a fucking rock star. I lived a really weird life. And I tested it, and I would talk to people about it, and to only be half right and to know what was astrology and what was like actual psychic information. I relied more on the psychic stuff because the astrology just wasn't adding up, and it was pissing me off. So I spent a lot of my time focusing on, you know, my intuition and trying to build that up versus astrology, which, you know, now that I use the actual placements, the actual sky, it's like, now if I get an intuitive hit, I can look in the chart, and if I see that same energy, I'm like, oh, well, we'll see. this might track. So, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, you made a good point, Nikki. I didn't even think about that, but I was doing psychic readings, and they were great. But then I would be like, okay, let me test out some of this, because I was, you know, becoming a professional astrologer. I'm like, after the reading, I'm like, let me test out some of this astrology stuff. Do you mind? You know, it doesn't cost you extra or whatever. And like half of it is okay, but the other half is like totally off. You made a great point, Nikki. Most of my career was focused on psychic work. And my passion was astrology. So and I know everybody I've heard talk about it comes to the same conclusion. We all knew deep down that astrology should work. In theory, there's something here. It's just not happening based on the information that we had, right? So like, I still had that drive, and like, that was the thing that I wanted to do and put all of my focus on, but it wasn't plausible because I had to, you know, like, the information sucked that I was giving people, and that's just the nature of it, I guess. At least that's how it was. And that like totally reshaped my career. I mean, my entire, like, the whole course of my life has been affected by shitty astrological associations from 25 years ago. So thanks, garbage Starbucks astrology.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, I'm not actually upset about it, but it did have a really big influence, and I didn't realize it until you just said that, Nikki. So thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I saw an astrologer, and I was like, so there's nothing in there about me being like psychic, like nothing in there at all. No.
No, not really.
No, not at all. Actually, you should just go be a nurse or something. You'd be really good at helping other people like that. I'm like, you're not fucking helping me at all, actually. This was entertaining. It was entertaining. But it was also a tropical chart too. And I was like, I just don't connect with this. You know, it just seemed like blowing smoke up my ass to get me to say nice things about me. And
did you ever get a reading where like you got done and you felt drained, like someone just sucked the life right out of you? It was so depressing.
Yeah, it was that one. It was a few of them. It was a few of them where I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, you don't know me at all. And then I knew I was starting to I started to get into psychic work and intuitive development. And that's when I knew I was meeting some like real, you know, people who were really in tune and really, you know, but it wasn't astrology, you know, and they were telling me you need to do astrology. And I'm like, look, I've been trying. It fucking doesn't work.
Sucks. Yeah, it's not working.
Yeah. And now, I don't know, I was after 2020, we were all stuck at home. You know, I was doing a program with, this magician, Josephine McCarthy is her name. And I don't know how I found her stuff, but I bought one of her books and she was like, well, if you want to get into this, you're going to have to learn it all. And I got stuck on astrology because I Googled, I'm like, what the fuck? Why doesn't it work? And then they were like, yeah, I Googled it. I lived 3 a.m. I was like, literally like, I woke up and I'm like, this is just pissing me off. It's bothering me. Like, Google, why doesn't astrology work? And then it brought me right to like, I don't know, I think like Hindu, like India, like they were like, oh yeah, because they use the sky or something. I don't remember. But I was like,
Yeah.
Really? And then it just like the rabbit hole just kept going deeper. And I was like, I've been fucking deceived, you know? Like, oh my God, I can't believe this. And then after that, it's just been rolling along. And that my friends, my family, everybody have been helping with it. They just can't believe it. Like, they're not into astrology like I am, you know? They're like, maybe they were when they were teenagers, when they had more time before like bills and life, right? And all that shit like got them.
It definitely, there's a lot to, if you're not in love with it, it's probably something that you're only going to put a passing, you know, amount of attention into, because there is so much that goes into it. It really is, it's a science, you know.
Yeah, it is. It's like a divine science, you know, it really is. It's not I mean, maybe, do you think back in ancient times, I mean, it seemed like it was so widely known. Everybody just accepted it so much. You find, you know, zodiac wheels underneath, you know, churches and everything. It was almost like as if it was a, you know, religion.
Well, in Mesopotamia, they had entire, in Sumer in particular, they had convents. And the priestesses, actually, they were like the astrologers. And that was their whole thing. They tracked the movements of the sky, write it down. And they believed that these were specifically messages directly from the gods. So that was their entire life, was connecting to the sky. So as far as everyone else, you know, whoever's getting the information from them, and there is evidence, I know people will say that the Greeks invented horoscopic astrology and natal analysis. No, they didn't.
Oh, I don't think the Greeks invented it. I think what they did is they took something and they made it their own. They like tried to reinvent the wheel and they just added their own culture and all infused.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And there's even in the Hittite culture, which wasn't technically, it's like in Anatolia, but they had what were Mesopotamian horoscopes, and this was like basically 1500-ish BC. So if they already had natal horoscopes that were just floating around, and you can tell they come directly from Mesopotamia because they're using all the Mesopotamian constellations, it was probably widespread. The only reason we don't have records of it is because the clay tablets that we have they come from these vaults, these libraries from, you know, various kings or temples. Your average person wasn't literate, so it didn't do any good to like keep, you know, written records around. And also we don't find as much as far as the records go. You find them in like royal archives and stuff. You don't find them just laying out in the street somewhere. Those would have been destroyed. So I think that the evidence is great, that it was widespread, well into at least maybe 2000 BC, if not before that. It doesn't make sense that you would devote so much effort to tracking the movements of the sky, and that's like your whole religion and culture is based on this, but then you're not going to share that information with the average person.
Yeah. And
Doesn't
then
make
all
any
of a
sense.
sudden it ends and it's like, nope, now we're choosing some arbitrary point in the sky. This is where we start. I mean,
Yes.
At one point in time, the galactic center was on the eastern horizon. I mean, at one point, right? I mean, doesn't it all float around?
Pick a time in the last 26,000 years. And yeah, something was on the horizon. So
something was there. So
yep, something.
Oh my God. Okay, so we back to the moon. This is like our quarter moon right now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Quarter moon with Uranus. I mean, do you have any crazy dreams last night? I actually dreamt, but I don't remember what it was. I mean, you said you have like really like creative, like visual, crazy like dreams, or was those meditations?
No, it's those two, but my dreams are usually pretty whacked out. They're usually rated R, so I can't.
Yeah.
Hell
yeah. I love rated R dreams. I don't get those.
Yes.
I get them, and then I'm like, okay, like, oh, like, I'll be like, I'm sorry, this can't happen anymore. I'm married. I'm like,
oh no.
Fucking night. I'm like, stop.
No, I usually know it's a dream. If it comes down to some situation like that, I'm like, oh, this is a dream. It's a free for all. Whatever happens.
I know. I got some morality fucking issue even in my dreams. I'm like, Christ. Okay, I guess it would be nice.
I did have a dream last night. The thing that I remember, because I've been busy and I haven't been focused on it, but I was in my house in Michigan, and that got rated R too. Now that I think about it. But what's interesting about it was there was this whole deal with these walkie-talkies. We were trying to find like batteries for these walkie-talkies, and I'm like, okay, whatever, that's weird. Well, then today my daughter like literally brings me the walkie-talkie. She's like I haven't seen these things in months, and all of a sudden she just brings it out and like, hey, let's talk on these or whatever. So I'm like, okay, like straight out of the dreams. I do have dreams about stuff, and then that day it happens. Like, it's usually I say meaningless. I don't know if it's meaningless, but it's like stuff that I literally just dreamt about last night. Necro Nikki said, I had a wild dream. I noticed when I have loose leaf teas, they get more intense. It was a date dream. So yeah.
Nice.
What kind of loose leaf teas? Like black tea, peach tea? Oh, what's that one peach tea, you guys? It's my favorite. It's like Republic of Tea, the peach tea. You guys know which one I'm talking about? Oh, it's so good. I haven't had
the blood orange one.
I don't have that one. I've never had that. But I haven't had black tea in, oh my God, you guys, when did I stop drinking coffee? It's coming up on like a year, isn't it? It was last spring, wasn't it?
You are so strong. You are just so strong. I've given up a lot of things, nicotine, alcohol. Like, I just can't give up caffeine.
It was the hardest thing I've ever done. And I came so close to going back. I told you that one time when I was trying to quit, I like made the decision, all right, I'm going to start weaning off coffee. I went to the coffee shop on the way home from getting my nails done. I'm standing at the crosswalk, ready to cross. I swear to God, my legs came up I'm standing there. I'm not moving. I'm just standing stationary, getting ready to sip my coffee. Legs came right out from underneath me. I crashed, my coffee spilled. And I'm like, okay, I got the hint. I understand, like, I have to do this, and I'm not gonna, because I was thinking like, oh, maybe I'll go get another one. No.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yes, but I haven't had black tea, and I'm scared. As a real like recovering caffeine junkie, I'm so afraid to have caffeine again because I don't know. I could probably do heroin or smoke crack, like, and be okay with not doing it again. Be like, oh yeah, okay, that was interesting. I don't know that I can't not have coffee and then just start drinking coffee again. So
yeah. I know.
In
Yeah.
true drug addict fashion.
Yeah, I know. I've had a history with drugs, and I just don't understand. Like, I would try something, I'd be like, I just this isn't worth throwing it all away for. I don't know. Just never.
I didn't
really,
get it either.
Yeah, I didn't get it. I didn't get the appeal. Yeah, my dreams have been weird. I think it's because I'm in a new environment. So when I first moved into my place, I kept dreaming about the families that used to be here, the old cars, and it just weird stuff. I would dream about things that didn't happen to me that were like happening to other people, and I'd be like in the driveway and I could see things, and it was just weird because I have not been dreaming for a really long time. Like I've not been able to remember, not been able to any of it. Just, just blank. Just wake up blank. So, but with Mercury moving into Pisces and all of the things shifting around, I've been opening up a little bit more. So,
Lorna said, my dream last night was water having consciousness and merging with mine to become a coach for anything I wanted, learn, dance, language.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, that sounds great. Mermaids Wear Head said, I had a dream that a troop of frightened chicken alien hybrids walked out of my chicken coop after being surrounded by deer that roared like bears. That sounds more like my dreams. Yes, those are my type of dreams. I'm with you.
Cool.
Lorna says, I chatted with Grok about it and had him make me an image, and it was so cool. Sad. Oh, that's the AI on, what's that called? X, I think, Grok, right? Yeah. Oh, Necro Nikki says hibiscus and sometimes mint. Okay, sounds good.
I like those.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not a big tea fan anymore. I used to be when I worked for Aveda for a lot of years, like several years, and I just was immersed in that Ayurvedic life, and their tea is so good. And
Nikki, I forgot I'm cooking. Hold on, I'll be right back. Entertain.
It sounds good. Oh,
it's in the rice cooker. I just got to make sure I turn it off.
Entertain. Oh no, I don't have any good jokes. I told you some of the jokes I know, and they're really inappropriate. Yeah, I guess I wish I did have like awesome dreams, but for some reason I've just been kind of blocked from that. So, which is okay. I used to have tons of dreams about all the stuff that was going to happen next. Like I'd dream about the entire next day, or I'd dream about somebody's life, and then I'd have to like tell them what I saw. I used to do a lot of prophetic dreaming. But I don't know, just like pressure and life and midlife crisis strangled fucking holding me. I can't seem to get my head clear at all. So it's a miracle I can focus on anything lately, anything at all. It's fucking ridiculous.
Have you tried fasting?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Like all the changes I've had, I've lost a lot of weight actually. So it's kind of getting scary, and I got to start not fasting so much.
Up the protein and fat.
Yeah, I have actually. It's just been a lot of protein, root vegetables, fruit. Okay. That's it. I got a little crazy, and I made like a banana bread again with some like.
That is crazy.
Yeah, and I put honey on it. I know, anything bread, like, oh, you mean it? Like I get to eat that, and it's okay. But it blew my stomach up, and it just made me feel like really shitty. So I can't have it. So, and I made a big thing of it.
Just do some paleo something.
Yeah, well, I did that. Oh, I did what you recommended with the honey and the peanuts and like mixed nuts.
Good, huh?
That was really good.
That
fucking hit. I bought like organic from my town honey. Oh, it was so good. So yeah, I meant to tell you that.
Yeah, it is good.
Like, yeah, I can get down with that little sweet treat.
Like, yeah.
I know. I go to the grocery store and I see people buying ice cream and like all this shit I want. And I'm like, oh, you guys don't even know how lucky you are.
No, that stuff is gross, Nikki.
It is. Anything milk, like Dude, I found out why my face was all fucked. It was that goddamn graham crackers I bought. Those gluten-free ones. Milk. It's got milk in it. So anything dairy, just
you gotta stop eating box food. No, you have to stop eating box food.
Like, maybe this is it. Maybe I can have this. Maybe
but after you clean your system out of the box food, you don't want it anymore.
No, that's so true. This week has been a better week. This week has been so
I know you're still in transition. You'll get it figured out. Mermaids Wear Hat said, I did a 7-day fast back in September and it completely changed my life. 7 days is long. I think I've only gone 4. And I got bored. Like, it was just boring. And because you do, after like so many days, you're like, you don't have enough energy to work out and do all your fun stuff. So I'm like, all right, this is boring. But 7 days, man, that's totally respectable.
7 days, awesome. You really purge like everything.
Oh God, yeah.
Like for me, I don't even think I need the 7th. I've got the 6th day. Like, oh my God.
No, especially if you're dropping weight, that's not the way to go. But like, I would say at least a 24-hour, like just clean everything, do what you can.
Yeah, I don't drink enough water. I think that's my issue.
I don't think you need that much water, Nikki. Listen, okay, here, listen.
Like a complicated house plant.
There is this, I forget her name. I'm bad with names, you guys know. I can barely manage the date. I have to keep looking in the bottom corner of my computer screen to see what the day is. So don't beat me up if I can't remember her name. But anyway, she like lived with the Maasai and all these other hunter-gatherer societies. And one of the things she said is they don't drink water, like almost never. And basically what happens is when your gut is functioning properly and your metabolism is functioning properly, your body creates its own water. So you can get it from, the other stuff that you're eating. So I don't know that you really need that much. I don't think that's the issue. I think that you're in like a constant state of toxic shock. No, I'm not a doctor. But that would be my guess if I were a doctor.
You're not wrong.
Lorna says, I am dry fasting for Lent and carnivore to break fast at night until Easter. You guys are so friggin' dedicated.
Oh my God. I gave up Lent for Lent, so.
Well, that's funny. Yeah.
Just for fun, though. I mean, I don't really, I'm not into... Yeah, I don't really follow anything. I'm not a Christian. I'm not a, I don't have a
Muslim. I thought you were a Muslim.
Yeah, I guess maybe.
We're not Orthodox Jew. I thought you were one of those.
No. No, I haven't figured it out yet.
I was looking for clips today to look at, and one of them was like, oh, tantrikas, they're all like like they're all crazy, and some of them eat meat, and they're really like basically bad magicians. They're just saying that. But it was kind of funny.
We were talking about Kundalini in your course, okay? And I liked you actually explained it very, very well, because I have not had it explained to me very well at all. And I've heard other people's experiences, and I'm like, well, that's never happened to me. I've never done that before. But I had a guest in my chair once who had gone to a Kundalini awakening meditation in Minnesota. And her story like haunted me forever. And she said that, they're doing the meditation and everything seems normal and fine. And then all of a sudden, like, people start like screaming and getting all like weird. And she opens her eyes and they're like, I don't know, like masturbating and fucking getting off. And she was like, what kind of fucking like meditation group am I in?
Yeah, that's definitely not.
Like, that's weird. Yeah. That's really weird. Like, everybody? And she's like, yeah, everybody there. And I was just like, what the fuck? And I had a lot of Virgo clients, okay? They were different. She was really disgusted, though, and we laughed so hard about it for like ever.
I was laughing just looking up, because sometimes they'll come on, those people doing like the Kundalini awakenings, and they're like having pretend seizures. If ever there was a, what do we call that? Like the mass hysteria, basically. Like, people are all just they're just pretending, but they're all believing each other's pretend seizure that they're orgasmic seizure they're having. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Abby, do you have any books recommendations from Tantra? Stand by. Mermaids Wear Hats. Yes, I do.
Yeah, actually, I'd like to learn more because the only book I have on Tantra isn't a book on Tantra at all.
What is it on?
It's like tantric sex for people who don't have time.
Yeah. So no, it's not.
It's just full of like old pictures. Like,
hold on, let's see here.
I just found it moving actually, so I didn't even know I had it.
You want to get Tantra Illuminated by Christopher D. Wallace, I think is his name. Right? I could probably get the actual, like, take a guess. It's on Audible. I listen to all my books now on Audible, and if something's not on Audible, I'm kind of out of luck because I can't just go to the bookstore in Russia and get like books. And there's still no shipping right now between the U.S. and Russia, but maybe soon there will be. I hear trying to get flights back, maybe end the sanctions and stuff. That'd be cool.
Yeah, there are a lot of crazy things going on.
Yeah, it's interesting out there. Hey,
very, very. Are we allowed to even talk about it? Oh my God, it's crazy.
Yeah, I think we are. We are.
I don't know. So it's kind of fun to watch how all of this is, unfolding. We've got tariffs. We've got all of this, going back to the way things were, energy. And then we have this Saturn-Neptune conjunction that really kind of two very different energies coming together. Oh my God, you know what? I have to say, and I wanted to I was wondering if maybe the folks that are listening too, if they had any issues come up while Mercury was approaching Neptune and conjuncting and passing. Oh my God. That was like this weekend. I think it's like around Friday they became in orb. Anyway, I was wondering what the hell was going on because literally I feel like my head was glitching. Things were just glitchy. Like my phone was glitching. I would go on to like Instagram. It would show me somebody else's fucking stuff. Like I was seeing names that weren't even, those notifications weren't mine. That would glitch out and then it would be my stuff.
Oh, that's March. That's not even yet. That end of March, you guys, next month. That's crazy. That's so crazy.
My solar return chart is just going to be wild.
Yeah, this is nuts in here. Let me go back to where we say February. What are we at? What's March? March. There we go.
Yeah.
Yep, it's March. Okay. So the second, third, fourth. So just this past week, yeah,
it was nuts. I mean, I was seeing things that weren't there. Like I read something and I read it. I swear I saw it, and I called this person by their name that I saw that I read, and they're like, "No, that's not his name. What are you talking about?" I'm like, I looked down and then it said something different. I was like, okay, something's fucking up. I am seeing shit. I am glitching.
It could be, belief. Yeah, you could be like shifting, timelines and stuff. That's real.
Yeah, it was just nuts. Yeah, crazy stuff. I don't know. I got a lot of truth dropped on me too. There like any illusions I had about what was going on in my personal life. Like, oh, that just popped. It was kind of cool. I was like, oh wow. Like, I wonder what astrological like alignment happened where this shit's coming out. I don't know. I really like everything moving into Pisces. I
think it's good.
I love that I love Piscean energy. And it's I think the thing about Pisces is there's a lot of truth. We talk about escapism in Pisces, like always trying to get away, and I think a lot of that has to do with just well, go ahead. No, what were you gonna say? I
was gonna say that's very, very recent. That's only the last 100 years or so that they use those associations, and it comes directly from the associations with Pluto. which aren't in all systems, but in some systems, they in some of the modern astrological systems, they associate Pluto with Pisces.
Yeah.
And so it took on some of those, like, what do we call those?
Oh yeah, you mean Neptune, right? Like Neptune with Pisces, because they really push that.
No, well, they do.
Well,
that
some of
too.
them. You're right about Pluto, though. I've read that in one of my esoteric astrology.
Yeah, Neptune too. Neptune has the weird, like, delusional whatever. And again, that's all that modern astrology is based on, the namesake that it got randomly, and whatever was going on in the West at the time of the quote unquote discovery. So, like, they're not based on anything. So that's why, sure, some people can see that, but Pisces is one of those ones. I've recognized this early on in life because my mom, she might actually be a Pisces. I don't know if she is or if she's actually an Aquarius. I'm not sure now, but I remember her just talking about Pisces throughout life. And she's like, oh, that's why I always hurt my feet, because I'm a Pisces. She is very accident prone, by the way. But she's like, oh, this is why I smoke, because I'm a Pisces. Or, like, they say Pisces are delusional and dreamy, and that's why I can't focus and blah, blah, blah. So, like, there's a lot of negative associations with Pisces, but I've met tons of Pisces who are the complete opposite. Who, like, have their shit together. They're out changing the world. They're like tuned in to their intuition. They're crushing it. So I don't think that's what and again, we have to look at what are the overlapping meanings between all 8 billion people on the planet. Like, what are they experiencing? And I just don't see all that, like, delusional, addiction prone, what sound like a moron. They make Pisces people sound like they're just so wishy-washy and can't, get their head out of the clouds. And I don't think that's the case. I mean, sure, there's some of those people, but I mean, there's a lot of Leos like that. There's a lot of all kinds of people like that. It just depends on the overall placement. But I agree with what you said earlier, though. Like, I think the Pisces energy is really good. And I think all of these things moving into Pisces right now are really going to serve all of humanity positively in the long run. Hopefully.
Yeah, I agree with that, all of what you said too, because I've met a lot of Pisces people who aren't drug addicts, aren't, like, on this mystical path where they're just
right. A lot of scientists. Yes.
Accountants. I've had a lot of Pisces clients who've been accountants, or they're in the sciences. They're into, like, biology, that type of stuff. So there's definitely intelligence that lives in Pisces. We're not all just floating around with our heads in bubbles. I mean, maybe
sure,
I am. Maybe
I am. Nikki, are you a Pisces? Yeah, because you're.
Yeah, my son is in Pisces.
Where at in Pisces? Well, you don't have to tell us, because then I don't want to.
I don't know.
Give your birthday away. No, don't tell us. Don't tell us. La. Trying to protect your birth information, Nikki.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't tell us. Somewhere in Pisces, which is
it's wide somewhere swath. In Pisces. Yeah. It's on the cord.
No,
it's not. No, it's not. It's actually not even in Pisces at all.
Don't tell people on the internet your birthday, Nikki.
I didn't tell anybody my birthday.
Yeah, but they can figure it out as we go through here and, like, run the dates and stuff. Like, they'll be able to figure out what day your birthday is. I'm sure out of, like, the couple hundred people that maybe pop on here, there could be one psychopath who's like, yeah, Nikki's birthday, I'm getting that, like, that's my.
Don't say that shit.
I mean, it's possible. That's all I'm saying.
I have had stalkers, but they never know my brain. They don't, like, ever.
Well, let's not give them your birthday is all I'm saying.
Okay. All right.
Lorna said the shift last week with Mars going direct, I felt the most clarity, mind fog lifted, keyboarding skills back. Oh, good, Lorna. Now, how much of that, though, has to do with your your water fasting regimen, I'm wondering? Because that'll definitely lift the mind fog, too.
Yeah. Well, Mars went direct, and it wasn't great at first, but I'm starting to get a grip on that kind of energy and starting to figure it out. I've made a lot of really great connections. I mean, if we're looking at houses, I would say he's moving through, like, my 11th house. And I've been able to make a lot of really good connections and a lot of awesome friends, and, connect with a lot of really, really cool people. So there's been its ups there. I've been fighting the I've been fighting getting sick too. I know there's a lot of bullshit going around, a lot of flu and cold. Like we miss Pixie Dust today because she caught something. I know Fryer had been battling flu too as well.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. So it's going around and it's bullshit. I don't like it. But that's why I've been on this extra self-care like journey the past like definitely 2 weeks. Just taking it easy, Epsom salt baths, you know, just getting rest when you need the rest. Don't push through trying to get shit done.
Yeah.
Body says no, listen to it. That's just that type of stuff. Just doing the simple things.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Hopefully everybody else is. But yeah, I know that, God, what else do we have going on?
Like in the sky, you mean?
Yeah, just this
everything's
week.
in Pisces.
Yeah, everything's gonna be going into Pisces. Yeah, you know, we were talking about. I like the Piscean energy a lot. I think Venus. Oh God, Venus going retrograde. I have had people coming to me out of the woodwork. They're like, "What do I do? What do I do? I'm seeing somebody, but now my ex came back, or I'm, you know, I'm, you know, just minding my own business, and now I've got like a whole fucking, you know, messages from like 3 different people that I used to sleep with, you know, like I know. And I'm like, well, like all of you are so lucky, you know, awesome. Like, good for you. So.
That doesn't sound lucky. That sounds,
well, they're like, what do I do? I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like, you got to follow your heart, dude. Like, I don't know. It's kind of cool. It's kind of fun. And I've had like several, like this isn't just 1 or 2 people. This is just like, it's ongoing and they keep like telling me all this cool stuff. And I'm like, well, that's awesome. Like, this is just Venus retrograde stuff.
Yeah. So far sounds pretty good. Venus retrograde. We're on board with it.
I don't know what some of them are going to be doing. I know some of the like chicks I was like, block. Like, oh, like don't get involved with that shit, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And some of the dudes, I'm like, well, I don't know. Do you like her? I don't know. It's fun. It's fun to see that as soon as she came into retrograde, these are the types of issues that a lot of folks are having. I mean, for me, I think it's brought up a lot more issues with money and finances and how I approach and how I'm approaching my own financial status. I think that's what it's been a lot about for me anyway. Change, you know, lots of change. They changed a lot about how I spend money and what I do. And yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of trying to figure my own shit out, I guess, too. It's easy when you can look at somebody else's. It's never really that awesome.
Right. Yeah.
And they think you're just swimming in it. It's really hard to, you know, have a clean perspective on it.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about Cetus too, being all that energy radiating from Cetus. We've got that there too, and I think it affects Aries. I think it definitely makes that whole section of the sky very, you know, very intuitive, very, very watery. What did I read about Aquarius and the rivers? You actually talked about it on one of your live streams, one of your solo live streams. The waters coming out of Aquarius were like the rivers, and all of these fish and sea creatures were a part of that Enki's domain, you know, like it was something along those lines, and it was just beautiful. And I was like, oh my God, I was like, I just read about that. Love that.
You guys, so you know, when I do those things, I'm half asleep and I'm just...
Yeah, because it's morning. It's like night there, right?
Yeah, usually I'm doing them at like 10 o'clock at night. So I'm already brain fried. And if I seem even remotely coherent, it is a miracle, because I definitely don't feel it while I'm doing it.
Well, I think with this Pisces parade, we're all a little bit more willing to kind of go with the flow.
You have to be.
Yeah, I mean, there really isn't any choice. Yeah, it is. This is definitely, we're definitely being taken for a ride.
Yes.
Yeah, that Saturn-Neptune conjunction, I think, is going to, well, it's not really even, it's basically a conjunction. I don't think they actually come together until next year, right?
They come right up on top of each other. I think they do. I would consider it a conjunction.
I would consider it a
Let
conjunction
me see
too.
here.
We're not like exactly.
Neptune. Here we go.
You don't get caught up with exacts.
No, I don't like the exacts. Let's see. It goes right up to, yeah, that's already conjunct. I mean, they're like right on top of each other already. Let me see. Zoom in a little bit more.
And I didn't know Venus went that far in her.
Yeah, look. I mean, they're right on top of each other before he goes stationary. Let's see, right about there. They're right on top of each other. I mean, you can't get more conjunct than that.
They're like, mwah, and then they take off in the opposite directions.
Right.
Yeah, that's going to do something, I think. I know with astrology, we look at, I think a lot of people look at astrology and astrologers and they're like, okay, name the event, name it. There's going to be some big event, but that's not how it works. It's like a series of events that lead up to.
Yeah, they're dominoes falling and they're, little sparks.
But yeah, we can definitely see it. I mean, the financial markets are going to change and fluctuate. I swear to God, if I got to pay more for fucking avocados, I'm going to be pissed off. It's my new cheese, okay? Like,
maybe they'll get rid of the income tax. Maybe. It sounds like I heard now. I don't
afford avocados. It's just like a tit for tat, really. Well, I don't know. I don't know
if you can get rid of the income tax. That's a giant portion of how much you guys pay. Like, it's a lot. It's ridiculous. Yeah. But not just that. I think they're talking about giving people like rebate checks for like $5,000 or something per household.
Yeah, my son was talking about that with me. He was like, "Have you heard the news about the stimulus money?" Like, he's a money guy, so I mean, he likes to invest. He's super into finances.
It's your guys' money. They should give it back. But I would imagine if you set that aside, that would cover your avocados for a year.
Yeah, oh my God.
Should have an avocado fund. I think it might work. It's, so, you know what?
Things that I can eat, like, don't take that from me too, Christ.
The economy's going to be weird. It's in a big transition.
Yeah, so, it does get weird before it gets better. I mean, we survived the 2008 market crash, which really wiped everybody out. And I remember, raising small children at that time. It was very stressful. I mean, it was super duper stressful being alive at that time. We had a lot of change. And, after 9/11, it was very shaky in the United States. And I think people forget about how unstable and how unknown and how just like uneasy that felt. Those times were very challenging. And, I think those were the worst times, actually. So I think if we can weather through that, we can weather through what's coming up, all the changes that are coming up next.
Yeah, for sure.
I try not to watch the news. I try not to, but I
don't watch the news. No, don't watch the news.
I gotta at least know what's going on because
but don't get it from the news.
Weather, and I'm like, I wanna.
Definitely don't watch the news.
Dude, I didn't know that the Jupiter-Saturn square broke a while ago. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Did it break?
Saturn, yeah.
I thought they were supposed to be like square for a while. I was talking about it the other day, and I was like, wow, I didn't know.
Have I been talking about it on the calls that I've been doing? Do you remember?
No, I don't ever remember.
I don't remember. It could
remember anything.
But here's the thing, like, what is your definition of the square? How many degrees away from that area of the sky does it have to be before you don't consider a square anymore? Is it 3 degrees? Is it 10 degrees? Like, what is it?
I don't know. I usually eye it up. Or I'll go by my program. Yeah. And my program I'm pretty generous with my orbs. I usually I'm usually like around 10 degree orb.
I would say so too. My only thing is I don't show them usually on my charts when I'm doing, I eyeball it and I talk about it, but I don't usually, like when I'm doing a predictive reading, which is usually when I use aspects, I don't show it. And that might give someone the impression that there's not an aspect going on. But otherwise, I just don't like looking at those charts, you guys. Michael Hartigan did my reading the one day. His aspects, I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he looks at that thing. It's out of control. There's lines. It's all lines in a chart. And I just...
Yeah, he's got, his mind just works so
it works for him. Good, but I just don't know how he does it.
I know I had to really scale a lot of my stuff down because I started out with just too much in the chart, and adding all of the dwarf planets, all of the asteroids, all of that stuff, like they're cool and everything, but I found for me what's working is just getting the absolute basics down and learning that and getting really, really good at that. And then I'll add the dwarf planets, and I mean, unless they hit somebody's natal planets, angles, then I don't pull it. I don't use it in a reading unless it's actually there. And
right.
If it's just floating around.
I only use Ceres and Vesta.
Everybody's been talking about Lilith and Black Moon Lilith and the asteroid Lilith, and I have tried so fucking hard to just like get into that. And I'm like, I just don't resonate with it. I'm like,
I don't either.
I like Lilith. I like to be on top. I like to have my shit my way. Fuck him. I'm on my shit. Like, I can get down with that, but I don't know. It's just an energy I'm not like.
It doesn't pan out in enough readings. It just doesn't. I
don't know. I just haven't figured that out.
I'm not saying it doesn't have an impact, but it doesn't have the impact people say it does, and it doesn't have it with any regularity, like consistent regularity that we could say, okay, this is really happening. It's kind of like a one-off, like tropical astrology. Like, 50% of the time, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I respect that some people connect with it, that energy and can really use it. Like JD just totally connects with Lilith and has that. And I've known a few other astrologers who are like, yeah, this is like it for me. And
I just last night. Hey, he's coming on the show.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
Yes, he was in the house last night.
That is so cool.
When the rated R stuff happened, it wasn't me, but I was in the house. That's all I will say. But that's funny. I forgot all about it until you mentioned that. But yeah, he's coming on in April, I think.
Yeah.
So hi JD, awesome. If you're watching. Yeah, that'll be cool.
Yeah, whenever I find an astrologer that's talking about Lilith, I'll just send it to him. I'm like, oh my God, hey, maybe you want to know more.
Does he get into that? Like the astrology side? Like, does he say, yeah, that makes sense? Or is he like, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know his extent of astrology knowledge, but I know he has quite a bit of knowledge about astrology, and he does use it. So, I mean, that's about all I know. I mean, I haven't had a chance to actually sit face to face and pick his brain. So now I guess we do in April. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see if I can do this and make sure I don't. Trash. I don't know what these are. I briefly just made sure that they were what they said they were, and then I grabbed them. So I don't know what we're getting into here.
Ooh, what do we got?
Let me see here.
A lot of really in history. A lot of really successful and well-known. Did they study the occult?
It was a mixed bag. So, for instance, astrology was practiced by basically everybody in the Middle Ages. It was taught in universities. Alchemy was never taught in the universities. It ranged from people who professionally did things like make paint in class, people we would not recognize as sort of like practical chemists, all the way to very esoteric alchemists attempting to discover the philosopher's stone and elixirs to extend life, perhaps indefinitely. Then you had ceremonial magicians, and then people who did things like what we would call Kabbalah. Now, once you get into the world of medieval ceremonial magic, that's when you begin to get into things that you're not going to want people knowing that you're doing. Things like the Inquisition are about. You don't want to get burned at the stake, which did happen from time to time.
In history.
Yeah, in even in the 1800s, in some cases, when you went to the doctor, they would pull up your natal chart. Unfortunately, they would pull it up using tropical astrology.
Oh no, that's why all your blood was getting drained to the demons, I think.
That is correct. That is true.
I love that guy from Esoterica. I think that's his channel. The Dr. The guy who was responding to the
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. He's
forget his
cool. I
name.
like him.
Yeah, I watch
Yeah,
his stuff
pretty easy.
sometimes. I haven't had a chance to check it out lately.
Yeah, it doesn't come up on my feed. I mostly
Does
see all the
NASA use
political
editing
stuff.
tricks? Oh my god!
This
will
one,
you tell
this one's
me-
gonna tell us no. Okay, go ahead, continue.
Oh my god, no, dude, you fucked me up when you were like, I don't think they really landed on the moon. I don't think these. Dude, I know, and my kids were making fun of me too because I would look at I love outer space stuff. I'd watch it all, and they'd be like, "Well, the cameraman really caught the fucking angle on that." I'm like, okay, I know it's AI, but this is like kind of what it looks like. And they'd be like, "Do you know? But do you really know?" Like, so yeah.
Dig it. This
Anyway,
one's gonna tell us. I suspect, because it's a fact check. It's gonna tell us that no, they don't lie about stuff, but they 100% get caught doing this all the time.
Use editing tricks to fake space. A Facebook post claims to show proof that an astronaut was not actually in space, that he only appeared to be through video editing tricks. The post looks at a portion of a 2013 video from the popular YouTube channel Adam Savage's Tested, which is not affiliated with NASA. The video features Canadian astronaut Chris Hadfield, who was living on the International Space Station at the time. He's explaining how they prepare a package of food in zero gravity. In the Facebook clip, a narrator says to watch the scissors in the top right corner. The video zooms in on the object, which appears to glitch in movement several times.
One,
it's not possible.
Edit.
And you can't really hold 2 of these or 3 of these at once.
Two
So you kind of
edits.
just need to
It claims this is proof that NASA used editing to fake space, but the zoomed-in video is misleading. In the original video, you can clearly see multiple objects floating around in the full frame. What appears to be the scissors glitching is simply basic video editing featured in this segment, where multiple clips are spliced together over narration. Did NASA use editing?
Sure, maybe. Okay, yeah, that's fine. But you don't show the other really sketchy videos, like when they're clearly in front of a green screen and they're pretending to float and stuff. Now, I'm not saying they're not in space all the time, but I think that they definitely fake stuff. And if you guys didn't get caught doing it all the time, people would trust you more. This is why people think that the earth is flat, because you guys have lied about so many things that even obvious stuff, like clearly the earth is not flat. Like people don't trust you anymore. There were some
yeah. Oh my God. Well, this just reminded me of a video I watched on the Radical Astrology Discord group. Okay. And it was about crop circles. And it was video of these orbs going over the fucking field and creating the actual.
Is that the one from the 90s?
Yeah.
That's a real video.
That was the first time I'd ever seen it. I was literally like,
that was on, somebody took like a VHS video.
Yeah,
like it was like a camcorder or something. Yes.
And he said that people were still accusing him of being like a fake. It was like he had to have fucked with
They
it.
watched it. There were like multiple people out there standing watching it happen. And they're trying to say, oh yeah, it's fake or whatever. No, dude, that's like literally just happened and everybody saw it. It's one of the best videos out there.
Blew my mind. My mind. I couldn't believe it. I was like, how? I have been trapped in somebody's freaking basement for 25 years. How the hell did I?
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was a good one.
Past 4 years studying the occult.
Oh wait, hold on. We gotta rewind.
I've spent the past 4 years studying the occult just to see if it's real. I've learned 2 very important things in that time. The first is that through all the rituals and spells and visualization and demon nonsense, the occult truly is just about spiritual evolution. The second thing I've learned is that it's all real and it works. I've spent the past.
That's so true, though. It is. Like, I think people dismiss their own magic. They're always looking outside of themselves, like some power in there.
And they want to make it super spooky. I mean, there's definitely some people who are into some, like demonology and legitimately dark stuff, but they're not necessarily even doing anything dark with it. I'd be way more concerned about, like the creeps who are running the show and causing wars and mass murder. Like those people are way scarier than somebody talking to Azazel or whoever.
Yeah, well,
You know?
sometimes it's just they're doing shadow work, and those are elements and
Yeah.
aspects of themselves, and they're working with it, and they're doing their thing. No judgment, man.
Theories that turned out to be true. So Bohemian Grove was an alleged meetup spot for the rich and powerful to rub shoulders and talk, which was later confirmed to be the site where Oppenheimer would work on the Manhattan Project alongside many of the world's most powerful men. The CIA admitted to the existence of a long-believed heart attack gun, which would pierce victims with shellfish toxin and kill them within minutes, making their deaths seem of natural causes. The CIA also controlled U.S. citizens through the use of LSD for Project MKUltra, in which they controlled the minds of subjects to see what would happen. The tobacco.
I like the cheerful accordion music in the background.
I know. I'm telling you, if somebody fucking dosed me like that, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know
it
what the
happens,
fuck
though.
They were thinking. Like,
Yeah.
Industry was thought to have suppressed evidence of the harmful effects of smoking to further push their product, which was true, although this isn't a unique practice as is done by the food industry with sugar and big pharma with the side effects of prescription drugs. Apple was long thought to have slowed down devices after the release of new devices, which we now know to be exactly true. And finally, rings hosted by the elites were a long-believed conspiracy until this turned out to be much worse than originally thought. Pretty bad, right?
Yeah, all that stuff, like, again, we all knew that stuff was going on. If they tell you, if the news comes out and like, oh, that's not true, that's a conspiracy theory, that's pretty much your signal.
Yeah, there you go.
Really 100% happening.
The entire time we had COVID, I go, nobody thinks this is suspicious at all, that we just uncovered a worldwide sex ring run by all the world governments, and now we're shut the fuck down and everybody's sick, and they're showing carting bodies to dump in big fucking like pits in New York. Like, come on. Like, I was just thinking, well, that's probably some mafia fucking shit right there. They're just dumping, like, I don't know. I don't know.
They were, though.
I don't know. I don't trust.
I saw, well, that stuff was going on. I don't know if we get in trouble for saying this and stuff, but I'm just telling you what I saw, the videos of, like, the news reports coming out of China, like in Wuhan. They were, these people were in the hospital and they were taking videos on their phone in the hospital, like kind of like sneaky taking videos. Mm-hmm. And they were putting live people in body bags and taking them to the crematorium because they didn't have space for the new people. And so they were no, for real.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was so scary and horrible.
Yeah, so it gets worse. Awesome.
Darkest conspiracy theory about, what the darkest conspiracy theory about aliens is? I don't know if I'm ready for it. That Earth is essentially a farm, and human beings are the vessels that contain souls, and they want us because this is how they create souls. And
I think Joe's been talking to Ola. So it sounds like
my God, my kids finally they saw the video comments and they were like so upset. My daughter left a nice comment.
Yeah, she said that you smelled like grilled onions.
Yeah.
That's so sweet. That's love.
It's true. I won't use sweat blockers, guys. I just smell like
I don't either. So. You guys are lucky. I shower maybe once a week, and it's great, by the way. My hair is so much healthier than it's ever been, and my skin, like everything, like we were definitely not meant to take showers every single day, but I probably smell really bad, and you guys just don't have to deal with that because you don't live here. So congratulations.
Well, I just won't use anything that's going to block my hormones, or like endocrine system is already.
It's not good for you.
Like, why the fuck would I do that? I don't know. It just seems natural to sweat.
Yeah, I do. So I used to do full body massages in the morning with coconut oil, but after like a few months of doing it, I found like I just didn't need to do it anymore. So, but in that process, what I started doing was after you already have a lot of coconut, because I also use coconut oil as a moisturizer before I put makeup on, and I use Moroccan dirt. What is it? Clay, red clay. Yes. Moroccan red clay as like a powder, because it's the same color. Like you can't tell, but anyways, when I still have the coconut oil on my hands, I put neroli oil. That's my favorite. And I'll just do like stuff, and that's it. That's it.
Yeah. I'm a patchouli and orange peel lover.
Oh, that's good. Yep.
I love it. I love it. I don't always smell like grilled onions, you guys.
I doubt you. You probably rarely smell like grilled onions. Probably almost never.
Yeah, well, when I eat them.
Well, we all have our grilled onion days, I'm sure. When we all like grilled onions.
Not that fresh. I just got fucked up though. I'm not wearing like sweat blockers. I have like natural deodorants.
Yeah, don't.
But it doesn't work that good, and I don't care.
You try coconut oil. It's an antibacterial, so it'll like a lot of the smell actually come. Hi, Pixie Dust. Hope you're feeling better. Sending you love and healing.
Oh my God, I hope you feel better soon. The flu is like the worst thing. I hate it. I hate it so much. If I could get rid of if I could get rid of two things on this planet, it would be mosquitoes and the flu.
I think the ecosystem might break down without mosquitoes.
God damn it.
I know.
Everybody tells me that, but they just seem useless.
I know they do.
The color blue was never written down.
Weird.
In like all this, like blue was never a word.
Weird.
They didn't have a word for that color?
No.
Okay.
When they would describe like the ocean and stuff like that, they would describe it as like green.
What?
And yeah. And so
Weird.
the theory is if you can't connect a word with a color, can you not see that color? Because your brain, and so they did an experiment.
That's crazy.
They did an experiment in this tribe somewhere in Africa. It was like the Bush people, and they also have never heard the word blue. And so they gave this graph, and it's this graph of like 12 squares, and they're all green, right? And then there's one that's like a bluish green, very different. Like all of us would be like, oh yeah, that one's different. And they had these people look at it, and they were staring at it, and it took them so long to figure out which color was different because they don't know what to look for in the blue. They're like, find the one that's different. It was weird.
Yeah.
And then they showed the color blue.
Yeah, I've heard about this before. That
really?
People, they describe the colors they use to describe the ocean or the sky. Even sometimes is black or green, but black's a big one that they'll use. I don't know that they really didn't see blue. I mean, again, I wasn't there. I can't say for sure.
I don't know. I just think Bush people, they're like, what do you want? Like,
they're probably like, what are you
pointing at?
Why are you showing us this picture? What is going on?
I actually had something similar to this yesterday. I had a guy who's deaf, and he's trying to talk to me. He doesn't know how to spell either, so he's trying to like spell it out because he's not only deaf, but he speaks Spanish, and I don't. So
that is complicated.
All sorts of fucked up. And we made it through the conversation, but it was embarrassing for me because I'm like, I don't know what you mean.
You got to point at stuff.
Yeah, it was difficult, but we got.
Just don't talk louder at him. You said he was deaf, right?
Yeah.
I've had people.
Smile. I'm like, like I know he's looking at my mouth and trying to read my mouth, but he can't because it's so.
I've had
Spanish
here because I didn't speak Russian early on, so their solution was to just talk louder. And I would try to tell them like, I'm not deaf, I can hear you, I just don't understand the words that you're saying. And they didn't understand.
I love that. I do talk loud pretty naturally, though. I just like.
Me too. I definitely got it in me.
Did you know that the story of the Great Flood is not present only in Christianity, Islam, and Judaism? There's a Great Flood story in Hinduism where a man named Manu is warned by a fish.
Oh my God, isn't Manu the guy that the craft like chicks were like worshiping? It was Manu.
Mano is what I think they said.
Yeah.
Mano. I don't know. Yes.
Vishnu about an impending flood, leading him to construct a boat for survival. In ancient Mesopotamia, there's a great flood story in the Epic of Gilgamesh, where Utnapishtim builds an ark to escape a divine deluge. There are great flood stories in Maya, Aztec, and other Native American cultures, where the flood serves as a reset of human civilization, a cleansing of the world. There are also great flood stories in Polynesian, Chinese, Japanese, and many other cultures. If you're interested to learn more about these stories, visit our channel where we have a full video on the topic. Did you know?
I used to love their channel, Universe Inside You, but then I don't know, I I think they got a deal with the Gaia network or something, and I don't know.
Oh,
Kinda-
Gaia Network's a little weird. I started out with
Yeah.
the Gaia Network, and then I was like, I don't know. It just feels kind of propaganda-ish. Like you're trying to convince me of one thing or another and not educating me.
Right.
I want to be educated. I don't want to be convinced.
Right.
There's another version of astrology that's
Hold on,
very
hold on.
popular. Now, there's another version of astrology that's very popular, and it's kind of competing with tropical, and that is referred to as sidereal astrology. Now, sidereal astrology, I do believe that there are versions of it that do have a 12, but the version of sidereal that I'm talking about recognizes 13 signs of the zodiac, and they're unequal. They're actually the length of time that it takes the sun to move through that sign, not an idealized equal amount. Now, there's another.
So
I love that. It's getting around. Yes. Yes. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Blows your mind that they're not all equal 30-degree sections all over the place.
Agreed.
It blew my mind. I was like, oh, fuck, I got to know some astronomy here. Long time ago.
The texts that we have in the Hebrew Bible and the New Testament, but particularly in the Hebrew Bible, so Old Testament, were written over hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, and they've been reshaped and recrafted over time. But they're drawing on some of them are drawing on much older traditions and mythologies. And so the example that you gave, some Christians read into God saying, let us make man in our own image. They read into that the notion of the Trinity. The Trinity is not even really a proper notion in the New Testament, let alone, obviously, it's not in the Hebrew Bible at all. So, as I was saying, this God of Judaism and Christianity is a post-biblical creation. So the deity that we find reflected in these biblical texts is a deity who was very much part and parcel of a polytheistic system. He was not he wasn't this solitary deity. He was networked into a much broader household, if you like, of deities. The text.
Yeah, all true. 100%.
Yeah, I don't know. I got weirded out even when I was a kid, when God was like, I'm the only God and you believe any other God. I'm like,
You're like,
there's
that's
more than one of you, right?
Well, it says so right in the Bible, like in the first couple of verses, it talks about, and God said, let us do whatever. And we made man in our image, or, whatever, like God refers to other gods. And how can you be jealous? Or like, how can you, he said his name is jealous. It says right in the Bible, that God is a jealous God and his name is jealous or whatever. I can't quote you the verse, you guys. I keep having to check to see what the date is. But, yeah, like, what are you jealous of? If there's only one God, what do you got to be jealous of,
Yeah, there's a lot of that shit that just didn't
Yahweh the storm god. Yes, mermaids wear hats. Absolutely. Yeah, he was Marduk. He's basically Marduk, who was Enlil, the storm god Enlil. And they just carried over different cultures, but.
So we talked about Jupiter and leaving his orbit, but he didn't really leave his orbit. Like he just shot us, right? Like there's the Velikovsky, theory that it was Venus that it got shot out of Jupiter, right?
Well, I don't know. So he talks about leaving his station. We could be looking at a bunch of different references. He could leave his constellation. He could be it's hard to say, but it is also possible that a planet at some point has come through and perturbed the Earth and the other planets. So if you guys go to the Thunderbolts Project, okay, immediately. Watch the rest of the live stream, obviously, but it's almost over. So when you're done, go to the Thunderbolts Project on YouTube. There is, what's that? My brain. The big scar on Mars, that big giant canyon. You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
They cannot account for it geologically, but the way that it's shaped, it's kind of like a straight line with the spiral. They can reduplicate this with electrical arcing in a laboratory. And this goes along with Velikovsky's theory that if Venus or another planet, whether it was Venus, because a lot of cultures say Venus at one point had this long flowing hair. They can see at times an electromagnetic, kind of like the comet of tail of a comet coming off of her at different times too, and it like has a glow. But anyways, if these two planets went near to each other, it would have created, or it could have created, electrical arcing between the two and this discharge, and it basically, dug this giant canyon out. Why can't I think of the name? I guess it doesn't matter. But anyways, this makes perfect sense, and it also explains. So if you guys look at a comet's tail, mainstream science wants you to believe that that's just ice and dirt that's being ejected from the icy snowballs that are flying closer to the sun. But it doesn't look anything like that. It looks like electrical discharge. And when they try to land stuff on these things, they have like electrical discharge between the body, whatever it is. And we also saw it when, was it Shoemaker-Levy it exploded in the atmosphere of Jupiter. Was it like back in the 90s or something? There were like 7 large pieces. The electric universe model predicts that these bodies that are flying through space, which they don't believe is a vacuum, that it's actually charged with these particles, and that as it interacts with another electrically charged body, that you'll have this arcing that happens. And that's exactly what happened when these asteroids collided with Jupiter. So I 100% forgot why we were even talking about that, but you go to their channel.
Yeah, you should definitely visit their channel, because I watch a lot of stuff on there that just blows my mind. I'm like,
oh, it's unbelievable. And all of
really
these
cool
predictions that they've been making, that they've been getting like laughed out of mainstream science. Like they get a lot of pushback, which is a sign that they're onto something. But all of a sudden now the James Webb telescope is coming out and proving their theories right. And it's stuff that like, if you read the articles in these papers that are coming out, they're like, oh, astrophysicists are shocked again. Why are you guys shocked? Like, yeah, like if you guys know anything about space, why are you every single day there's this new thing that comes out and you're just like shocked about it? Maybe you guys don't know what's going on in space. Have you considered that?
Yeah, maybe they're just reading books and copying and memorizing and not actually doing and looking. I don't fucking know. I don't know. I just feel like they've set up a class, and when you get into that class and that system, you think like everybody else, or you're out, and everybody wants to be in, and it's really hard to be a scientist nowadays.
Take funding if you don't toe the line. It's definitely or it's a religion, and you're in the cult, and you gotta play the game. Mermaids Wear Head said that's probably how the Grand Canyon was created too. Yeah, that's a very real possibility. One of the other things that happened, so and they can't account, again, geologically they can't account for it. So if you look at the moon, not all of them, but most of the craters on the moon, the ejecta is coming out at a perfect, like it's perfectly even on all sides, and it only goes down to a certain depth. And so you get the same, which is not what would happen with an asteroid or like a big rock crashing into it. You're going to have the ejecta all go in one region. There's going to be the depth, the crater is going to go way deep down, and these ones don't. But what you do see is a very uniform. It's like arcing all over the moon and on Mars. They have it everywhere. Now we can't tell on Venus because we can't.
Atmospheres.
Yeah. But you do also, they've been finding these weird craters that are perfectly even all over the Earth. And it does look like the same thing you get in the lab when you're dealing with electrical discharge. So it would explain also, the thunderbolts that these ancient people are describing, the gods are warring in the heavens. It would explain some of the crazy stuff that they claim to see. In every single culture, they have stories of this stuff. So I don't think that's a coincidence, personally.
Hey y'all, fun fact. Sidereal astrology and tropical astrology are the same thing.
Nope, they're not.
Fun fact.
Yep. They're definitely not the same thing.
Okay.
Really
keep
just
going.
looking at astrology from different angles.
Nope, that's exactly not what it is. We are not looking at it from different angles. We are literally looking at the placement of the planet in the constellation.
Cognitive dissonance. It's
They're
called,
looking
I'm
at something
right,
else.
and I'm
Yeah.
gonna figure out a way to manipulate this shit so that I'm always right. Okay, keep
Yes,
going.
exactly.
Yeah.
Sidereal astrology is more expansive. It's
What?
There's that word you love.
Yep.
based off of the sun's placement in correlation to the galaxy, where tropical astrology is really just based off of the sun's placement in the galaxy.
What?
Yeah, that face, that's my face right now.
Yeah. I gotta look at the comment. I feel like studying both gives a much clearer picture. Tropical is 30 degrees off in the sky. Thank you, Sunliminius. Babylonian, who were the first. That
Yeah.
person I think has commented on my stuff before because
Yeah,
that
you
name looks
should like
familiar.
that comment.
And they got their shit together over here. Yeah. So
Oh,
this
look at
person
that.
told her what was up. I'm
Like
gonna
that.
respond. Hold on, I gotta respond, you guys. Heck yeah.
Hell yeah. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. But I mean,
There was
I
actually
wouldn't.
a lot of them, and
I try to be a little educated before I make a video on something, but clearly I don't know what she's talking about. I don't know.
I've sent you videos of before. You know, this lady was like, "Oh, the sun and Pluto are coming together conjunct for the first
Yeah, for
time in
that, yeah.
246 years," and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so fucking
Oh.
embarrassed for you."
I
Like,
would. Yes, that would be so humiliating.
Yeah, it was
That'd
like
be so
actually
super
it
embarrassing.
happens every year. It's not
We'll do
super
one.
rare, but
We'll do one more of these. Hold on.
yeah. I love these. Like, I'm not on TikTok. I can't do it. It's not Vine. I'm just a loyalist to Vine, and it's just TikTok. You end up getting sucked in, and then you got 10 fucking videos, and you gotta go find the other ones. And I'm
Yeah, I can't do TikTok. Did we listen to this guy already?
no.
Oh, okay.
No, this is new.
Sidereal astrology. Tropical astrology versus sidereal astrology. We're diving into these differences straight away. Number 1. Tropical astrology and sidereal astrology have a difference of 23.4 degrees between the two systems. Tropical astrology is ahead, sidereal astrology is behind. I'm referring to the order, by the way. Number 2. Tropical astrology is based on the sea.
Nikki, that's not right. Right? What did you
Well,
have-
yeah, tropical's always like 30 degrees ahead, like 24
Oh, I
degrees
see
ahead
what
of
he's
us.
saying. Okay.
Yeah.
It did. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Seasons, while sidereal astrology is based on the actual constellations. Tropical astrology divides the zodiac signs based on the solstices and the equinoxes, while there's a form of sidereal astrology that breaks up each zodiac sign by the true size of the constellation. Number 3, tropical astrology is a fixed system of astrology, whereas sidereal astrology takes into account axial precession, which is how the Earth is getting jiggy on its axis.
Yeah.
And the last, tropical astrology is popular in the Western Hemisphere, sidereal astrology is popular in the Eastern. Follow for more.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Good job, guy.
Yeah, it was just dropping facts, just spitting facts. All over
Yep,
the
that was
place.
way better than that other
Yeah.
person's thing.
I like that. I know it did. It blew my mind. I figured it out. I was downloading all these astronomy apps, looking, and I'm like, look at that. Look at that. Mhm.
Yeah. Lorna said, I had a deaf coworker in Spain. He could understand some of the ASL we use, Google Translate all of the time. Yep, that's how I got with my husband. All Google Translate. Without Google Translate, we would have not communicated at all.
Yeah.
At least in the beginning. Lorna said, fun chat today and fun discussions. Have a great week. Off to the races. Have fun, Lorna.
Yeah, have a good day, Lorna.
Yeah. You guys
Yeah,
were
I
awesome today. Yeah, we had fun.
Yeah, this is cool. Yeah, Pixie Dust, feel better soon. I know
For
you
sure.
said you're on the mend. Like, oh, seriously though. Oh, I'm sending you good vibes, girl.
Yes. Salima. Yes, very much to you. All right. Well, we could probably wrap it up. Thanks, everybody. Roxanne, Mermaids Wear Hats, Lorna. Who else do we have on here today? We had
Ooh, Cooley High says
Necro
yeah.
Nikki.
Is Sumerian astrology same as sidereal? That was a
Well,
question.
yes,
yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yes. So Sumerian astrology is just using the oldest known Sumerian mythology as the basis for your planetary and zodiacal associations. But yes, it uses sidereal astrology. So hi, Cooley, hi.
Yeah. Well,
hi.
sidereal can be a little weird too, because some people use like midpoint boundaries and some people use like Fagan Bradley boundaries.
Sure,
So
yeah.
sometimes it'll be like a little off when you're looking at different sidereal type calculations.
Yeah,
I
if you
guess.
want to get real rigid with it, for sure.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can
if you
come
wanna
up
get
with some
technical.
differences.
Yeah.
But I don't do that. I'm a savage. I just look up there and be like, it looks like it's right there. I don't know. That looks good enough for me.
I like that. It's been good enough for me too. It's been working.
Yeah. I do. Well, I'll be on tomorrow at sometime in around lunchtime, probably 12-ish, maybe. I'm not sure, or 11 or 12 tomorrow. Otherwise, we'll be back on here next week. Me and Nikki, we're gonna do our full moon special, I believe, right? That sounds
Yeah, yeah. And it's eclipse season too. So
Ooh, are we getting an eclipse this week?
Yeah, yeah. I totally thought the full moon was gonna be in like Leo. I didn't think it was even gonna like line up, but I think it does. I think it lines up with the South Node in Virgo. I you know what? I've not done my due diligence to take an actual good look. I've had a lot of other things.
I think we
going
have 2 eclipses coming up. Don't we have a full moon and a
Yeah.
new moon?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So lunar and solar. Okay, well that'll
Yeah,
be fun.
yeah.
That'll be fun. We'll check it out next week. All right. So we'll be here and we'll see you guys then. And thanks again, everyone. Sending love and light and blessings and healing and whatever you need, okay? Sending it your way. All right.